Hello. Okay, welcome to class today. It's another business class. So we'll take a look at a presentation I've done for today. But first, as I always ask at the beginning of class, today the topic is integrity. So do either of you know what integrity means before we get started? Or maybe if you think you know what it means or you have no idea. Anything and everything is fine.
I don't know, maybe the structure, or
Okay.
maybe how it is formed, how it is framed, something like that.
Okay, I can take that idea and make it into the correct idea. So sure, it's part of the form, I suppose you could say. Ken, do you have any ideas?
Maybe to respect or sincere.
Okay, so those are really good adjectives as well. Basically, integrity is, in my own words, I would say it's just being honest. About specific situations. And so what we'll do is we'll look at some and we'll look at the positive integrity and when there's a lack of integrity, when it has to do with, work, things at work. So I think we'll just get started. I'll have both of you read, which is good. Let me just make sure this is ready to go. And now I can screen share. Integrity at work. Okay, good. So integrity at work. So first, again, like I always ask, what is integrity? So Ken, you're more correct in the sense, between the two different ideas, between yours and Rafa's. Rafa, yours I can fit into the fact of it has to do with the structure, but not just the structure of the company with the employees, managers, bosses, but also the relationship and how they connect, and also the respect in between those with those relationships. Okay. So, Rafa, as long as you're unmute at the moment, why don't you read what integrity is?
Okay. It is moral and ethical principles at work. Integrity is the base of any relationship in a business atmosphere between co-workers, all of all levels, managers, and bosses. Integrity builds relationships, trust, and in general, makes relationships strong.
Okay. So basically, it's kind of a both. I like both of your examples, what you thought integrity was, just because it really kind of fits in all of it. The structure, as Rafa says, as I said here, it's the coworkers, managers, bosses, etc. And then Ken with more of the respect and being sincere. So we'll look at some examples that actually coincide with Ken's examples. Okay. Any questions at the moment about vocabulary or anything else that you see here?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, that is fine. I want to ask what ethical principles are, or ethic. The root word is ethic. Ethic. Any ideas? You're not ready for my vocabulary exam today. I'm sorry.
Moral, but I don't know what's the difference between moral and ethics.
Well, what's morals? Let's start there. Morals? What are morals?
I don't know, maybe it is a set of human values that people should have in a society.
Okay. I agree with that. Okay. Ken, do you have anything to add?
Maybe the kind of standard which society think it's a good value.
Okay, sure. That's good. Well, I mean, both really have something to do with it being right or wrong. Okay, so they both share that. This is something that is a little bit difficult to explain sometimes. So, morals is really how a person feels. Okay, so if I think, I mean, I was just saying to someone else, I don't like to lie at all. Not even to myself. Yesterday, for example, every Sunday I talk to my parents on Skype. And yesterday I said to my mom, hey, just after 11 o'clock, I'll talk to you. And then I said to my husband, oh yeah, I told my mom just after 6 o'clock I would talk to her. Now it was 11 o'clock Wisconsin time. And then it was after 6 o'clock in Spain. And so granted, it was going to be like the same time. I told them each different hours because of the region that we're in. And I was like, am I lying to my husband? Because I told him the Spain time and I told my mom the Wisconsin time. So I don't know, things like that. That's morals, okay? Is where it comes from within, okay? So maybe that doesn't bother anyone else, but I didn't think I was really being 100% truthful, but I wasn't lying either. So anyway, kind of a strange example. But morals come from within a person, okay? And ethics is more of maybe, let's say, society, okay? That there's expectations from the outside world, okay? And in this case, ethics at work would be basically the standards for work. You know, maybe it's your clothes, the clothes that you wear, or how you speak, things like that. Okay, so is that clear?
Yes, it's clear now.
Okay, so basically the same thing, but the root or the base of the morals or ethics comes from either within you or from a different source. Okay, so perfect. That was it for my questions. Yep, that's it. So let's go ahead and we'll move down a little bit here. Yes, people with integrity value themselves and their coworkers. And this is important to mention because when you talk about integrity, you're really being honest with yourself and also the relationship you have with your coworkers. And that's important. I think it's super important that you treat them as you want to be treated. You treat them with respect. And also that you're honest with them. If you are going to be late for work one day and you know it the day before, well, just tell them. Say, hey, I'm going to have to do this the next morning. I might be 15, 20 minutes late. That's it. Why not? You know, prepare them. I don't know. There's just so many people lie about things. Oh, hey, no, there's a lot of traffic. I'm going to be late in the moment. But it's, I don't know. There's no point in lying. So what do you two think? Is integrity important to you, or do you think it's important in the workplace? No comment?
I think so because people who respect somebody, others, to respect others, I think to respect ourselves also necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Probably yes.
Okay, good. Ralph, anything to add?
No, my thoughts are very similar. I think integrity is important in every aspect, every place in society, either your home or either your work, regardless of where you're talking to. Regardless of the environment you are inserted, you need to have integrity.
Exactly, and not just that, but also, I mean, we've all worked with someone that we didn't get along with, right? There's always been at least one person in each job that doesn't share maybe the same morals, doesn't have the same values, maybe you think is disrespectful. And you look at that person and you despise, or you don't agree with them. You don't like to look at them because there's negative feelings. And so if you're surrounded by that, you're not going to work hard because you're not going to be maybe satisfied with your work environment. You're not going to be happy to be at work because you see this other person, or you know that other person is there. So I think there's a lot. I mean, your attitude towards work and towards everything in life is important for that topic. And if you're not satisfied, you won't be happy. If you're not happy, you won't perform well. If you don't perform well, then the business might not succeed. And so there's a series of events that happens with this topic of integrity. Okay, at least in my opinion. So perfect. Moving down, Ken, I'm going to have you read this next part. So some examples. All right. So I'll have you read this. Okay.
Okay. Communication and being honest. When the CEO or president of the company informs employees of current events, employees are kept up to date on everything, which makes them feel as if they are part of the company.
Okay. So again, the words in purple are related to integrity. I would say they're part of the word integrity, communication and being honest or honesty. So when the CEO or president keeps the employees up to date, they feel like they're part, they're more important. They're part of a group, that you belong somewhere. Why do you think that's important? Or not?
I think it's important that that's a kind of a strategy the past Japanese companies did. Before the lifetime employment collapse, Japanese companies is doing this strategy, but not fully being honest or well communicated. Because it has a clear hierarchy-based attitude or respect. So, but the usually people who cannot trust who cannot get a feeling of stability, maybe it reflects their work or their working productivity as well, because maybe people tend to be unstable in such circumstances.
Absolutely. Rafa, do you have any comments?
Yes, I think that it is important. It is pivotal that CEOs have a clear relationship with their employees. Primarily because this, I believe that this enhances the sense of reliance and commitment of workers within the company. And I'm sure this only provide beneficial aspects for workers in the company.
Okay, good. No, I it's important to work together. Camaraderie, camaraderie is the, how do I explain that? Relationship and interaction between coworkers, and how important it is to work together. I mean, you want to be in a great environment when you're working so that everything is successful. If you're in an ugly building with no sun, you're not going to be very excited to go to work. You're not going to be motivated, and that's not going to make you want to improve the business or the company. So it's very important that you're in a good atmosphere. So moving on to the next part here. Rafa, I will have you read this, okay?
Okay. Communication is important for many reasons, but also if the company is going through a difficult time. Being honest with employees and informing them of upcoming negative events is important, so there isn't a negative outcome, layoffs, pay decreases, etc.
Exactly. So these are things that I wanted to mention. So we were talking about positivity before. And so now, I mean, there's still a negative side to work. Maybe the business isn't doing well. Maybe there's too many employees. Maybe, there's so many different possibilities. You also have to be prepared for the negative parts. So with the company being honest with the employees and saying, hey, we have to decrease staff by 10%. At least they know ahead of time, before it's going to happen. And maybe they won't be as upset if the company can offer them. So it's called a severance package. A severance package is basically when the company fires you, or there's a difference between it's to be fired or to be let go. Okay. Do either of you know the difference between being fired and being let go? Very similar.
Sorry, could you repeat the word again? To sever? I don't know. I didn't get it.
Severance pay. Severance package. Severance.
Oh, severance package. Okay.
Oops. Package. Oh, my caps. I can't spell. 1 second. Severance package. Severance. I think it's like that. Okay. So they might offer you a severance package. That is, benefits. Maybe it's money. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of different things that they can do, but normally it has to do with money and your 401k, which is your retirement fund. Okay, that every job has for you when you start working there. Okay. So back to my question of the difference between to be fired and to be let go. There is a difference. Basically, they both mean that you're not going to be working at the company anymore, but there is a difference between the two. Do you have any ideas?
Letting go sounds better, like release, and you can get another job.
It does, yeah.
Hire is maybe forced to leave. But usually, both are same, but there could be difference between these kind of nuance. I mean, also maybe how much money that the employee can get because of that action. I'm not sure.
Not exactly. So I want to wait. Rafa, do you know anything about the difference about being fired or let go?
I believe the difference is just in the options, because when you are let go, it means that the employer is offering you a possibility to choose or to seek for another job position somewhere else. But when you are fired, you are being laid off. You are being closed. They just want you to get there to no longer working there, I think.
Okay, well, you just mentioned to be laid off now. Ken, okay, wait a second, Ken. So first of all, I'm just going to explain. To be fired means that you did something in which the company does not want you to work there anymore. Maybe you were late too many times. Maybe you're not reaching goals. Whatever the reason, but the company has decided that you are not beneficial to them anymore, and so they want to fire you. Okay, so you will not work there. So it's a negative thing. To be let go and to be laid off. Now, I'm trying to think. Laid off, I think, is temporary, and I'm actually going to see if I can find some information very quickly. To be laid off versus let go. See if I can find anything. Laid off. Yes. Okay. So the position is eliminated when it's laid off. Like there's no more, I don't know, maybe a company is going from, I don't know, printing things to everything's digital, for example. Well, that person who was in charge of the printing area won't have a job anymore. So they're laid off. There's just no more work. Okay. And let go can also mean that the position was eliminated or that you're fired. Let go does sound nicer, so Ken, I do agree with you there. But to be let go, I think, to me, it sounds more like we're sorry, but there's no work for you. Maybe we're slow, and so we don't need you, and so it's unfortunate, but there's no job for you anymore. I think, to me, as far as the company being fired, is the company doesn't want you there anymore. To be let go, they don't have any work for you. So why are they going to pay for you to work when there's no work? So I think the company might feel bad. And laid off, again, is just that the company says there's no job position. We can't pay you just to do nothing. So fired is a negative one. Is that clear? Do you have any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
So does that mean that when you're laid off, because there is also another definition that especially when two companies merge and the position become redundant, is that the same definition?
Yeah, I would say that's either let go or laid off. I mean, to be laid off means that there's no job position for you. And again, if you're redundant, if there's two people for the same position, you only need one, well, then I would say it's either let go because there's just no job for you. You weren't fired because you did something negative, but you were let go because there's no job position. So in that case, let go and laid off are the same. Is that clear? Any other questions?
Sorry, I didn't get it. I haven't got it yet. How the definition of be let go is?
Okay, so let go means there's no job position anymore for any reason. And to be laid off is there's also no position for you anymore. So they are the same in certain conditions. Let go and to be and laid off. And fired is the company doesn't think you're useful or beneficial to them anymore. So they don't want you to work there. Okay. So fired is negative. Let go and laid off are not that you did anything wrong, but there's just no more job. Does that help?
Okay, thank you.
Are you sure? Because maybe if Ken wants to explain things in his words, maybe that would help. Ken, do you understand these words?
To fire means there's no possibility to return to the company.
Mm-hmm.
But fire means if that position is become available or another position, employee has a possibility to return the company.
That's actually a good way to put it too. See, this is why I wanted you to explain it too, because then you see a different way. You're right. To be fired, the company will not allow you to work there anymore. Not just at that one, but maybe if they have, a sister company or something like that. Same thing. They won't allow you to work. Well, maybe let's let that hopefully sink in for Rafa. And if you have questions, if you still don't understand at the end, we can take a look at that again. For now, I want to continue. Let's see. Ken, could you read this for us?
In the above example, you can see that the CEO, president, is not only communicating well with employees, but is being honest too. When someone is honest with the whole company, it means there is a good relationship. When there is a good relationship, the company will hopefully succeed.
Okay. I've added hopefully in here just because you never know. It obviously depends if the company is selling products, is providing a service. There's so many potential issues or problems that I put hopefully. So yeah, so what do we think about this? Agree, disagree?
I think it's one of the, the issues of the successful company, but yeah, as you said, it's not always, sometimes the product itself is pretty new or the strategy is good and inside the company is not so good, but that company succeeds.
Yeah.
But maybe, yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like maybe, yes. So unfortunately, not all successful company is like this probably.
Exactly. Rafa, sorry, yep.
Not always.
Good. And Rafa, anything here?
No, I agree with that. There is a myriad of factors which influence the success of a company. And certainly, a good relationship is important, but it's not the whole. So there are a lot of other aspects involved in the business. And it's complicated to determine whether or not a company will succeed.
Yeah.
It's a good start, having a good relationship with the employees.
Yeah. I think, like I mentioned before too, that it's just so important to work in a good atmosphere. And I know it doesn't always happen. I think I live in this like fantasy land of everything's perfect and everyone's happy. And it's because I have I have some really good jobs and I actually don't have coworkers. So I don't work with anybody. I have, Thomas that I work with and James and obviously other people too, but I am self-employed. And so I don't have anyone to fight with. I don't have any bad bosses. It's more of I'm my boss, but obviously I have to also work with other people and follow what they want, their expectations. So my life is a little bit different, but I want everyone else to have a great life too and love what they do. And just working in a good environment is super important. And I don't think I've ever had a job in which I had a really bad boss. I really don't think I did. Well, there is one, but anyway, apart from that. So good. Well, let's continue on here. So Ken, it's your turn to read. Again, responsibility is another word here. With integrity, okay? And I'll move down when needed, okay?
Okay. Responsibility. A group wasn't able to complete their task on time. Instead of throwing the group of employees under the bus, the group leader took responsibility for the missed deadline. Even though the group was to blame, they knew it couldn't happen again. So they wouldn't have to work together.
So they would have to work together.
Team building.
Yep, that's fine. So good. So basically, the team was the problem. They had the situation. But then the group leader said, no, it's my group. I didn't push them hard enough. It's my fault. So the group leader took the blame, even though it wasn't technically this person's fault. Now I have, like I said, the purple word here is related to integrity. And then I have throwing the group of employees under the bus. Now there's an expression is to throw someone under the bus. This is an idiom in English. Do you have any idea of what it means?
Maybe too victimized.
To victimize. Yes, to point the finger at someone and say, no, the group leader could have said to the boss, hey, they didn't work hard enough. They didn't do this. It's their fault. It's not my fault. No, that's not what happened. So, but yes, that's exactly what it means. Thanks, Ken. Have you ever heard this used before?
No, actually.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Well, with that, Rafa, any comments here? What do you think about this? Have you ever been in this kind of situation?
Not that I remember. I've already undergone some difficult situations in my job, but my bosses have always been honest with the team, and luckily I haven't been in a situation like this one.
Perfect. Well, then that's good. So good. We have that, and I think that is it. So yes, this is, working together, team building. And so because the group leader said, hey, it's my fault, the group kind of, this is a made up situation, but the group would say, hey, she took the responsibility for this, or he took the responsibility for this. Now, next time we're in the same situation, we have to complete this project on time. So, you learn from your mistakes. And I always say mistakes are not bad. They're just to teach us to learn something. So with that, Rafa, why don't you go ahead and read this? And again, truthfulness is related to integrity. It's another part of that. So when you're ready, you can read this, okay?
Okay. A customer was looking to buy a product, and the sales rep told her everything he could about the product. She had very specific questions that the sales rep couldn't answer, so he contacted someone who could answer properly. Even though the product didn't have everything the customer wanted, she still bought it as it was the best product she had found.
Okay. So basically, we have someone that was looking for something, someone who didn't know, and that asked. Because a lot of times this happens, and maybe the sales rep could have said, oh, yeah, it has that. It has that. Yes, it's perfect. It's exactly what you need. And they're lying just to sell the product. And this person was being truthful, and this person went and talked to the right people and was honest. What will this do for your company? Okay. My question is in this kind of situation where someone did the right thing and really was honest and said, hey, we have everything but one thing in this, versus someone who lied and said, yeah, it has everything. What does this do for your company? What does it affect? I'm thinking of a specific word. Do either of you have any idea on how it would affect the company if the person lied?
Well, I think that he's about to lose a client. Maybe
Okay, and why?
Because this person won't be able to do business with them anymore in the future.
Why wouldn't they want to do that?
Primarily because they won't believe in them, and I believe they will recognize that he's just trying to mislead the customer. And
exactly.
There's something like that, I think.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. Ken, do you have anything to add to this?
Maybe distrust. People just distrust the company and its product.
Yeah, they're not trustful anymore. Okay. I agree with that. Also, it affects their reputation. Like Rafa said, they're not going to come back. They've just lost a customer. Well, yeah, that's true because they don't, as Ken said, they don't trust the company anymore. And that's normal. So it really affects their reputation. If it happens once, okay, that happens. but 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. times is too many. You can't do that. Then you're really going to develop a negative reputation, and that's not good for the business. So it's best to be truthful. Okay. I want to go down here, and Ken, your turn. So now I want to look at the lack of integrity and some of the things that go with it. So there's a lot of different levels of showing a lack of integrity, and this could be from the company itself or even from the employee. There's so many different options. I have some things here. So Ken, I'll just have you read the examples, and there's more on the next page, okay?
Missing supplies, pens, printer ink, paper, toilet paper. Lunchroom necessities, forks, napkins, etc. Disrespecting different cultures, sexual harassment.
Yes. So this is the end of the presentation as well. And so these are just some different negative things. And so I want to start with the missing supplies. Okay, so pens, printer ink, paper, toilet paper. I mean, do you think, this idea is a bit strange. Basically, what they say is that integrity, if you don't have toilet paper, you're not, I don't know, not being nice, I guess, to the staff. What do you think about that? Or what happens if you don't have any printer ink and you have to print a document? What's happening here with integrity? Again, well, before you answer, let's look at the purple words again. Communication and being honest. Responsibility and truthfulness. And obviously there's more words, but what do you think? Go ahead. Why would these missing supplies be a lack of integrity?
Well, it is, I don't know if it is the right answer, but depending on the context, I think, because if the company has no supplies to attend their necessities, their office necessities, their office tasks, sure, this will affect, to some extent, the integrity of the company, but I don't see as a good reason for losing the credibility among for the companies for the employer loses its credibility among the employees. I believe that there are more reasons that should do that, more important reasons for that, I think.
Okay. All right, sure. Ken, what do you think about this?
Maybe these missing supplies, hinders the smooth work environment. Workers cannot work, smoothly there.
Okay. Well, I mean, if for example your company wants to be successful, but they don't give you the things that you need, how can you be successful? So it goes in a circle kind of, whereas if the company doesn't supply you with everything that you need, you can't do your job properly. If you can't do your job properly, it's going to affect your productivity. If you can't be productive at work, your company can't be successful. So again, there's a chain of events that happens in this kind of situation. Okay, maybe you don't have toilet paper. Well, that's not a very comfortable situation for anyone. So that's something to think about too. And printer ink, you need to print something, you can't. And what about these lunchroom necessities? I mean, does the company have to offer you forks and napkins, etc.? No, but they kind of should. But why? They don't have to. but it makes life easier for you. What do you think of those? I don't want to talk about the last two quite yet.
I stick with the same position. Of course, they're important to maintain the welfare within the company, but I think workers, to some extent, they are able to improvise, and they just by, I don't know, if they had a good relationship with the boss, and it's just a matter of conversation and expose their necessities, things like that. And I think they are able to deal with these issues in a more intelligent way, without losing the credibility of the employer, I think.
Exactly. The credibility is what, I mean, that's a great word as far as believing in the company. If the company doesn't believe in you, how can you believe in them? So that's part of the issue here is, maybe your company buys the cheapest products of something, but at least they have it. You have to think about that too. So I don't know. There's just, there's so many things. But I think what basically it comes down to is that if you're not comfortable in the environment in which you have to work, you can't do your business as you should. So that's one of the issues.
Maybe, as you already explained, maybe the company is undergoing difficult times, and they have to cut costs. So they have to do something about it. And
Exactly. Absolutely. So we have that. Ken, do you have any more ideas about this, or should we talk about the last two?
Okay. Talking about lunchroom, not all company has lunchrooms here. Some company doesn't have it, so worker have to go out to work to eat or bring in lunchbox. So also kind of cultural difference. Maybe people eat more use chopsticks more than fork and knives. The napkins, I think Japanese paper napkins available. I don't know, not always.
Okay. So, I mean, that's the other thing too, is you don't have to, but you could. So, I mean,
for Asians, I searching for the chopsticks on the restaurant in the cafeteria at the university. One cafeteria has it, and so I, intentionally go there. It's a bit far from the dormitory, but maybe such kind of cultural things, also different things, is also important. Take care of that.
Well, good. I mean, that's, I guess, another idea. Plus, as you said, it depends on the company, because not every company does have a lunchroom. I mean, in Spain, I don't even know what to say. There's so many different options. My husband, for example, does not have a lunchtime. He has to eat when he can, when he's at work. And even though he has a good schedule, he has a different schedule than most people here in Spain. He works 2 days and then has 2 days off. He works 2 days and then has 2 days off. But when he works from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so it's 12 hours. So he works a lot of hours, which working 48-hour weeks is normal here, which it shouldn't be. It's technically illegal, but anyway. So there's that. And so he has to eat when he can. He doesn't have a specific lunch time. Other places here in Spain do have a specific lunch time. They also have a cafeteria. So it really depends on the company. In the United States, I think every, I don't know, kind of office building or production company, like an assembly line area, has a lunchroom area because everyone is there for lunch. We say we work 9 to 5. Well, you eat lunch between 9 to 5. Even teachers, when the kids eat lunch, the teachers eat lunch. So it does depend on the company. I think you're right. Also, disrespecting different cultures and sexual harassment. Obviously, this is more of a moral issue. Again, this also goes back to feeling comfortable and confident in the environment. And if you don't feel comfortable because people are discriminating against you for being man, woman, gay, bisexual, who knows, whatever. There's so many different reasons. Having being deformed, for example. I mean, there's so many different reasons. So, and then sexual harassment obviously is never okay. And that could happen between coworkers. It could be a boss and, normal employee. So there's a lot of different situations in which, I mean, you're not being honest. You're not being truthful. You're just not being good. So we need to change that. Any other comments?
No, thank you.
Rafa, anything from your side?
No, me neither. Okay with that.
All right, good. So then the whole idea of integrity is clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes back to the person and being honest with yourself and not lying and being honest with everybody else, because it's important. You want to be, we say, in the loop, or, you also want to know everything. So, all right. No, if there's no other final comments, that's fine. What I can do is I'll stop screen sharing for a moment so I can say goodbye and everything. Also, I want to mention next class that I have. The 25th on Wednesday, I will be doing a class about the American accent. So we'll be listening basically to me. Hopefully I'll be in American mode, so I can pronounce everything more American. I have teacher mode and normal mode. And normal mode is when I talk to my parents. Teacher mode is when I talk to you and everyone else when I do classes. Depending on their level, it depends how much I have to enunciate. That's the pronunciation of letters and words. All of my words and everything. So we'll look at the different kind of pronunciations between American and probably British, because that's the most common, especially around here. So yeah, that should be pretty interesting. So if you have any questions about American English, specifically, maybe you have questions about different words. Oh, which one's better to use, this or this? If you're going to the United States, for example. And this could be if you're traveling, if you're visiting, just to know because you want to know. There's a lot of different things that we can do with that. So perfect. Well, I'm done over here. So any questions from you two?
Yeah, when teachers speak teachers mode during the class, so sometimes with us on the street, oh my God, people on the street talk very different from the textbook or teachers, English teachers.
I know. There's sometimes, like, even with my husband this weekend, a lot of things were coming out in English, and I don't know why. We were in the water in the ocean, and I was like, "Oh, here we go! It's a big wave! It's coming!" All of this, out in English, and I'm like, "Why is this? Why am I speaking in English?" With my husband, we always speak Spanish, so that was kind of funny. And there were sometimes like 3 words, came out of my mouth very quickly. I was like, he probably didn't even understand that was English. He probably just thought it was a sound. So yeah, we'll talk about those and those kinds of things. And if you have any questions, go ahead. So, and we'll talk on Wednesday then. Okay. So thanks for joining. Thanks for reading today, guys. You did great as always. And I'll see you in a couple of days, okay?
Okay, teacher. Thank you for the class.
All right, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.